have 21 minutes. 21 minutes to talk. Hi, my name's Gabrielle. I have 4 children. 2 are adopted and have somewhat special needs. 2 are not adopted and typically developing. This is what I want to share. I want to share with the world what it's like to parent a special needs child. It's just something everybody should know, whether you are a special needs parent or you're not a parent at all. Just things to be aware in the world that are happening around you that you might not be aware of. So, I think that I am allowed to make this video because of my 4 children. I have differences, right? I have 2 that are adopted. One of those children has diagnosis of autism, has a one-on-one in school, is what you would call a special needs child. Now, he's not medically fragile. We don't have issues with that. I know there are way more special needs than what my son Benjamin has, but he is a special needs child. Then I have my daughter Ava, who is also adopted. She doesn't have diagnosis. You would not classify her as a special needs child, but she's adopted, and that comes with trauma, and that comes with pain, and that comes with loss and so much hardship. So there are needs there, and I want to share what that looks like from a parenting point of view. Then I have 2 bio children. They're typically developing. My daughter Isabel is 8. And then I have a little one, but I'm able to see the differences and see what is different in these children and how they're developing and what they need. So, okay, 10 things. Number one. Okay, at first it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to parent a special needs child. And I know that's like icky to say and yucky, but I'm a human and I have feelings and needs, and I get to feel things too. And when I was, I think I was 28 years old, Ben and Ava moved in with us. All of a sudden, instead of one-year-old, I had 3 children. And it was embarrassing because we would go in public and there were things that I had to do that were embarrassing. I will never forget it at the time. The speech language pathologist that my son was going to, there was this other mama there who had a son that was also going there. And I just watched her love her son so deeply. And the things that she would do, she's wrestling him and she's smiling and she's catching him with her feet and she's doing whatever it needs to be done to take care of that child while connecting with me or talking to the receptionist or whatever needs to happen. But it just gave me this epiphany of that's what parenting looks like. Because, you see parenting, it's just normal parenting, and you don't see what parenting a special needs child looks like, and it can look so different. And I realized then early on my journey with special needs that it can look different. It's going to look different. It is going to be embarrassing. Eventually people are going to understand. Eventually I'm going to be okay with looking silly or running in the street or yelling really loudly at my children. Like, it's embarrassing for me. If you have special needs children, you probably understand. And I've grown out of that. I'm not embarrassed anymore. Probably just because I'm used to parenting them. But at first, parenting a 4 and 5-year-old with special needs, it was embarrassing for me. And that's the truth. Okay, number two, public is hard. Going in public is so hard. Anywhere. Going to the grocery store, going to the park, going to school, going to parent-teacher conferences, going to a choir concert, going to church, going to anywhere, Costco, it's hard. Home is our safe place. When we are at home, we are safe. We know the routines, we know the rhythms, we know the boundaries. They know exactly what's expected of them. I know what they're going to be doing and what they're not going to be doing, what they're interested in, what their tendencies are. When we go out in public, all of those variables change, right? The people change, the location changes, the noises change, the atmosphere changes, the energy changes. And I don't know what to expect. So it's really, really hard because my meter of like normal, right? Like normal nervous system is up like 100% when we're in public. What's Ben doing? Who is he talking to? Where is he? Is he safe? Is everything okay? Is he running in the road? Now, I know that's for every parent, for every child. It's just a little bit different. My son is 11. I'm still concerned about his safety in public places. Because I don't know if he's going to stick with me. Or when we're walking, you know, the aisles of Walmart, why is he not with me? Where did he go? Oh, he's in the last aisle looking at something. Well, that's really scary because soon he could be in the next aisle and then he could be gone. So public is really hard. We stay home. We stay home a lot. And it's not because we're hermits. It's not because we don't like people. We love people. It's just really hard to step outside of routine. Okay, so that was number 2. Number 3, it hurts when kids are mean to my kids because they see it and I see it and it's yucky and it doesn't feel good. And I can tell, right? So if you are a parent of a typically developing child, please talk to your children and just explain to them that sometimes people are different and they need hellos and how are yous just like everybody else does. And you don't have to be their best friend, but being polite goes a long way. So we see it. Number 4, please do not offer my children candy that has dye in it. Food is a huge issue for us with special needs. Ben is gluten-free, dairy-free. We try to be dye-free. We try to be soy-free. Like we try to be all of these things. And when there's these offerings, right? Like at Halloween or at school or like off the bus of candy given to my children, then I'm the bad guy. Then I have to be like, no, you can't have that. Like, we're not going to do that. Remember, we try to not eat dye. And so 100% of the time it makes me the bad guy. And I'm okay. That's fine. I would rather be the bad guy than give the child the candy that they're not supposed to eat and have them have a bad day for the next day or two because they have dye in their system and they really shouldn't, you know. So I'm okay being the bad guy, but if we could just like eliminate the whole candy concept in the United States, that would be great. If we could just stop giving kids candy all the time, that'd be great. Okay. Number 5. Okay, this is a big one. I'm still learning it. It is difficult. Okay, nervous system regulation, right? I have a nervous system. I try to regulate it every day. Ben, Ava, they have nervous systems. Isabel, Olive, they have nervous systems too, right? It is my job as their mom, as their primary caregiver, to regulate their nervous systems. They cannot do it on their own. I don't know like how old they are when they start being able to regulate their nervous systems, but I think Ava does it. But Ben, Isabel, Olive, I don't think they're doing that. I am doing that. So a lot of times people look at like stay-at-home moms and be like, well, what do you do all day? Literally, I'm regulating my nervous system so that when I'm around my children, I can regulate their nervous systems. And it's exhausting because the more dysregulated a child is, the more they've been through trauma, the more their like physical bodies throwing themselves off, the more they need nervous system regulation, the more it is up to me. So yes, I need to go for a walk. Yes, I need to work out. Yes, I need to be eating those great healthy foods. Yes, I need to have those friend conversations. Like I need quiet time. I need to be in the Word. I need a lot of self-care because of this nervous system regulation. So sometimes like Ben will get off the bus and I'll be like, I'm exhausted after 10 minutes because like my nervous system wasn't strong enough for his nervous system to stack on top of, right? Like some people call it like energy vampires, right? It's not that. I have to be strong enough in my nervous system and in like my energy so that he can come and he can regulate off of mine. And it's exhausting. So honestly, like my capacity is just lower. I'm just a lower capacity person because I'm regulating so many nervous systems all the time. Okay, that was number 5. Number 6. I have to teach my children everything socially, everything, right? Okay, so my 12-year-old, my sweet 12-year-old, who I love very much. We went to Costco, all of the samples, right? We're just eating samples, right? We're doing our monthly haul. We're eating lunch at Costco, lots of samples. She drops her meatball off the floor. I tell her, I said, no, we're not getting another one. I'm sorry. Like, that's the consequence for being clumsy and dropping a meatball on the floor. Like, you just don't get another one. Well, she ate it. Like, I forgot to say, oh, don't eat food off the floor. And also, let's throw it away and we're done with that. We're not going to go back and ask for another one. You know, it's just part of managing your body, managing like where you are in time and space. Like, there are consequences to not managing your body. So, like, maybe don't eat food off the floor. Or another one if I'm having a conversation with somebody across the room and one of my children walks in and they stand right in the middle of us, right? Like maybe they're interrupting and trying to have a conversation, or maybe not. Maybe they're just going to stand right in the middle. And I have to say, I'm actually talking to this person right now. If you could not stand in the line of direct contact, that would be great. Now, maybe everybody needs to teach that to their children, but I don't have to teach that to Isabel. That's not a thing that she doesn't just do that. So it's interesting to watch the differences of typically developing and not typically developing and what they need help with. And, actually we're having a conversation with all 4 people and you're talking too much of this conversation, right? Just things that you should not have to spell out. Like I don't have to spell that stuff out with Isabel. She understands what grown-ups are talking. Like she can talk and she can like ask questions, but she's not going to be the center of the conversation unless the conversation's about her, right? Yeah. So it's just interesting to see the differences there. There's a lot to teach socially, by the way. I will never teach everything I need to teach socially. I don't even know all the social things that I need to teach. But so there will always be holes, there will always be gaps, there will always be failures. But please understand that like we are trying so hard to teach our children how to be normal people. It just takes a lot more work. Okay. Number 7. Where's my number 7? Okay. My children look old. My 12-year-old, beautiful. Ava's so beautiful. And she has this fashion and this style. And she dresses so beautiful. And she does her hair. She's so good at doing her hair, way better than me. And so you would look at her and you would think, oh, she's a preteen. She probably is on the phone a lot. She probably like takes walks with her friends, like goes to coffee shops. No, we are not there. We are absolutely not there. So just because my child looks like they're a certain age, they could act like a total different age. And that is how I'm going to treat them, right? If you act like an 8-year-old, you are going to get 8-year-old privileges and 8-year-old responsibilities. That's just how it is. So even though it might look silly for me. Okay, so for example, we had a choir concert the other day. We had cookies afterwards. All the kids were running around. They were playing. The parents were talking. And Ben, my 11-year-old, wanted to go out of the room in the rest of the facility and run around with the kids. Well, I couldn't see him with my eyeballs. So I was like, that's not a good idea. You need to be in this room where I can see you. So other people might hear that conversation and be like, man, that mom is controlling. Well, guess what? I don't know if my son's going to like take a toddler outside of the church, right? Like outside. I don't know if my son would, just like get into things he's not supposed to, go into doors that are supposed to be closed, like get into their sound system thing. The boundaries are a lot different. If you think about the boundaries that you have for like a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old, like I'm still living those boundaries with my 11-year-old. So it just takes a lot longer to establish that trust to know, oh, he's not going to get into those things that he's not supposed to, So my kids look old. They're not treated like that though, because I think you treat the child for where they are developmentally, like their developmental age. Okay. Number 8. Number 8. I have to worry about keeping my kids safer a lot longer than typically developing children do. So Isabel, we'll go to the grocery store, we'll go to Costco, we'll cross the street, whatever. We'll be outside in public and I know she's going to be right beside me, right? Because I don't know. I didn't teach her that. She just like wants to be with the person that's going to keep her alive, right? Like her ride, she wants to be near that person. The person buying the groceries, she wants to be near that person. The person that she's bonded with, she wants to be near that person. So my other 2 will wander. They're going to wander. They might meet a stranger. They might go check out that car down there. They want to see like the dog at the end of the park, right? And it's just not safe because they don't know where those boundaries are and when you shouldn't be crossing them. So my 11 and my 12-year-old, I am consistently making sure they are safe like I would a 3 or a 4-year-old. Maybe not a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old, but I'm making sure like they're not talking to strangers. There's no like cars lurking around. They're not, crossing the street without looking. You know what I mean? Like I have to keep them safe longer. That's how it goes. Okay. Number 9 and number 10, these are positive ones. Okay. So it's been really, really hard to be a parent of a child with special needs. 2, right? So like 1 severe special needs, 1 just like social, emotional special needs, right? It's hard. And I wish that other parents could see the hardness that comes with that. When I'm parenting Isabel, my bio child, it's a lot different than parenting a child with special needs, especially children with special needs that didn't come from me. Now, I love them and they are mine and they are part of this family, but it is a different dance. There are different rules. There are different boundaries. Yeah, so it's hard. Okay, but number 9. So it's so hard, but it's so beautiful. For our marriage, for Aaron and I, it has actually brought us closer together, because if we weren't together, we would be apart and like we would have been eaten alive. There needed to be both of us to do all of the things that need to be done physically, right? Like dinners, bedtime. We don't really bathe, so we don't do that. And then emotionally, carrying on the conversations, and spiritually, like holding the space and fighting for them in prayer. Like it's exhausting. It's exhausting. So just a minute. So it has brought us together. I feel, I don't know what the percentage is for marriages that fail after special needs, but it is high. It is so high. It's way higher than typical, which I think is already 50%. It's terrible. But it has definitely bonded us closer together because of the difficulty we've had to. Yeah. Number 10. Okay. Because it's so hard, it has made us desperate to be better people, to be closer to Jesus, to be more like Jesus, desperate to seek after healing, to do that GAPS protocol. We were desperate. It's not like, oh, I think I'm going to stay in the kitchen all day and cook. No, like we were desperate, and we still are desperate, because we see the pain and the gap of where they should be and where they actually are. We see that gap, and it makes us desperate for answers, desperate for Jesus, desperate for prayers, desperate for deliverance, desperate for healing. We are desperate. So I think that is a great thing, because it keeps us on this trajectory of growth, of healing, going to counseling, just, we're going to keep growing through this. We can't just sit down and be like, well, it's how it is, I guess. No, it's not how it is. There's redemption here in this story. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share with you. Being a parent of special needs, different than being a typical developing parent. I'm sure it's very much the same, but since I have children in each category, it's not the same. And I wanted to share that. And if you're a parent of a special needs child, I see you and I understand it is so draining. It is so relentless. Being a parent in general is relentless, but special needs, whole nother level of relentlessness. So good job. Keep going. You can be desperate and do this. You got it.